Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hello and welcome back to Combat Sports UK. I am Patrick McCarry and I am joined by former OKTAGON bantamweight champion Jonas Ma. How you doing, my friend?
All good, just cutting weight, so not on my highest right now, but it's all for a good cause.
So what is your fight week weight cut process like? How much weight do you normally cut on fight week?
Around 10 kilos, sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less. It depends on what who I'm gonna fight and what style I'm gonna fight mostly. Sometimes I come in a bit heavier, sometimes I come a bit lighter. It depends on the opponent and the style I wanna use in the fight. So yeah, it depends a little bit different from time to time.
And obviously, the big story behind this fight is the change in opponents. Obviously, you're supposed to have a rematch for the title against Felipe Lima. He now signs with the UFC, wins his UFC debut, which was very impressive. Now you're fighting Josh Hill. Talk to me about what that opponent change was like.
Yeah, it was obviously annoying because I wanted that revenge with Lima. I thought I deserved that revenge, and then I finally got it done. And then he left to the UFC. I can't blame him for it. It is what it is. But luckily, we found a good opponent. It's an opponent that I really like. It's a very interesting opponent for me. He's a veteran. He fought here and there. So for me, it was a good, what is it called? Yeah. If it couldn't be Lima, I'm very happy it's just Hill.
Yeah. And how is it mentally going from you're the main event on a fight, you're getting that revenge, and now you move for some reason they moved when I was looking at the card, they moved you down to the prelims. What is that like mentally as well?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Fighting is fighting. I'm getting paid the same anyway, so it doesn't matter. Maybe it's even better for me because the waiting time, the last many fights I've been fighting main events, and it's just a long day. I just want to go in there and fight, and it takes a lot of my energy waiting and stuff. So for me, I'm just being positive about it. I know they put me there as well for people to come in early to watch me fight and put a lot of money in the bar probably. So I couldn't care less. Of course, for my ego, it would have been nicer if I was still the main event. But in the end of the day, I'm there to do a job. If it's in the now I'm can enjoy the fights afterwards, which I never do because I'm always been fighting main events. So I'm just all positive. I'm very excited for the fight, no matter where on the card it's gonna be.
And when it comes to training camp, you start your training camp for a 5-round fight, a championship fight. Now you go to a 3-round fight. Is there any adjustments you make in training camp?
Yeah, the sparrings are more focused on 3 rounds than 5 rounds. I feel like it's a good way to start a fight camp thinking you're gonna fight 5 rounds and then fighting 3 rounds because the cardio going into it as well. It's different if you're training for 3-round fights and then get a 5-round fights. So I think it's just been positive. I've just been everything's been going good, smooth. I don't think in the end of the day, it's not so much about the opponents, more about me. Yeah, I'm just ready to go.
And when it comes to your training camp, where have you done your training camp and who have you been working with for this camp?
So I started my training camp in Manchester. Obviously, I live in Holland now, so I've been doing my training camp here. But the start of my training camp, I like to go to England just to get some new weapons in my arsenal, and then I can work on them in my gym here at home where it's more comfortable. Because when I'm in England, I'm not at home, so it's a lot of stress factors for me. And even though I'm a very outgoing person, I really like my private life as well. And I feel when I've been in England too long, I just end up burning out. So I started my fight camp in England, and then I finish it here in Holland in Combat Brothers.
And in Manchester, were you trained with Manchester Top Team? Is that correct?
Yeah. That's
So
the guy.
did you get any rounds in with the likes of Dennis Frimpong or any guys like that?
He's too heavy for the guy I
big.
was fighting.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to spar people who doesn't move or look or weigh the same as your opponent. It's very specific when you're there. But I got some good rounds in with some good bantamweights we have there. We have Louis Lee Scott, who's the RS champ now. We got Louis McGrillen, who's a knockout like artist, and yeah, we just have a lot of good guys in bantamweight there. So high pace. So yeah, good work in there.
And going back to Felipe Lima, did you get a chance to watch his UFC debut, and what did you think of his performance?
Yeah, I watched it. It was a good performance. Yeah, the best thing about it was that he was doing all the things we were expecting him to do against me. So that gave me a bit of what is it called? It was nice to see that the game plan we have done, or knowing what to be aware of, was actually what he was showing. So we were prepared for that. But I couldn't be more happy. Like, it would have been horrible if he went in there and got knocked out. It's not been a good look for me since I went 5 rounds with him. So yeah, solid performance, and yeah, all good.
You mentioned before Josh Hill being a veteran. He's fought in Bellator, he's fought around Europe and around the world. Like, how 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 is it different fighting like a guy in Felipe Lima, who is regarded as maybe a prospect, despite being the OKTAGON champion? He is regarded as a prospect, while Josh Hill is regarded as a veteran.
I just think it's a mentality thing. The thing about the Lima fight, I took the Lima fight on a short notice to save their card. I was not really asked about Lima because he was an upcoming fighter, and he hadn't fought for a long time, so I didn't really know what to expect. And he came in very hungry, and hats off to him. I expected a different fighter than came in. So yeah, this time we would have been more prepared for that, but still, it's it's that hunger, and I feel like I have that hunger maybe compared to just at this point. He's been around, he's done his thing. This is more like a retirement plan for him, I think. Where it's not a retirement plan for me. I'm planning on putting him to the retiree home on Saturday. So it's just the mentality is different. He's been on the bigger promotions, and I'm still hungry for that as well. So, and to prove myself. So I think it's a mentality thing going in.
And if you beat Josh Hill, where would you like to go? Would you like to then fight, obviously, for obviously you're the number one contender, so it would be the most logical thing for you to fight for the vacant title. Is there an opponent in mind you'd like to face for that vacant title?
Yeah, I think the guy that I also wanted to fight this time, but he apparently wasn't available. That German guy, Fahad or whatever his name is, uh, Iranian wrestling kind of guy. He's in rank number 2, so that's the fight to make. But right now, my focus is on Josh. He's a dangerous opponent, and he's very good at digging people into his game. A bit boring, but I think it's up to me to make the fight entertaining, and that's what I do best. So
And without giving too much away, obviously, what is your game plan going into this fight against Josh Hill?
my game plan for Just Hill is just to destroy him all areas. I think I'm better than him everywhere. I think I can take the fight wherever I want the fight to go, and I think I have the tools and the mindset to finish him wherever it goes. And I'm not too focused on one part of the game. It's MMA, so I just want to destroy everywhere. Yeah.
And talk to me about your last fight. It was a very impressive performance over a very talented fighter in Jack Cartwright. Main event, big occasion. Talk to me, like, what do you learn from that fight?
There is no boogeyman. They call him the boogeyman all the fight week and everything. And in the end of the day, when I saw him in the cage, he just looked like a shadow of himself. And honestly, I thought he looked very big during fight week and stuff like that. And walking past him in the hotel and stuff. But as soon as we got into the cage, he was just a shadow of himself. I just knew I got him. Like, so what I learned from that is that fighting is very mental, but I already knew that. And yeah, that's it.
And
I knew I was better than him.
and where do you see your exact advantages lying against Josh Hill? You mentioned destroying him in your game plan, but where do you see your exact advantages and where do you feel you can exploit Josh Hill?
I'm more explosive. I'm faster. I'm just more powerful than him everywhere. On the ground, in the clinch, striking, everywhere. I just feel like I'm just a very, very bad match for him. And I've seen some big openings in his game. So yeah, I'm very comfortable going into this fight. But then again, I cannot rest on that. I need to prove what I'm saying as well. So for me, I'm gonna show people who I am once again. I see myself being the underdog going into this fight, and it fits me perfect.
I have to say your English is very good. Where did you learn English? Obviously, training in Manchester probably helps as well.
Yeah, but I didn't learn English in England because they don't speak English there. I don't know what they speak, but it's definitely not English.
It's a,
But
the Mancunian accent is tough, yeah.
yeah, that's not English. But yeah, just from being around in the MMA world and traveling, and yeah. Now I'm training in Holland, so my environment, I speak English every day. So yeah, that's from that.
Holland
And
is
Van
very
Damme,
international, right?
yeah, very international, very international.
Where in Holland do you live?
I live in Rotterdam.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. It's a big university place, isn't it? There's a lot of universities there.
I don't know, probably.
Let's go into the personal side. I like to do this with fighters. It's a little bit of a quick fire question set just to close out an interview. First of all, what's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie must be Scarface, I think.
Very good movie. Your favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show at the moment, it's what is it? I don't really watch many TV shows, to be fair. But I've been watching something called Yellowstone at the moment. It's
Mm,
like
yeah,
some cowboy thing. Yeah,
my
it's
parents have been
nice.
watching it recently. Um,
Yeah,
uh, what's your favorite music artist or music genre?
it's definitely rap. I don't really have like a favorite artist, but I just like rap, and yeah.
Yeah. And see, dream vacation spot.
I think maybe Mexico. I would like to go
Mexico.
there. Yeah,
And who's your favorite MMA fighter of all time?
favorite MMA fighter at all time. There's so many, but I think Jose Aldo and Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
Yeah, and John Jones, of course.
And who's your favorite athlete in all of sports? Do you watch any other sports?
I don't really watch any other sports now.
No.
No,
Do
so I
you
don't
do you
have
have a
any
favorite fight of all time?
favorite fight of all time. I think there's so many as well. But I like the Eddie Alvarez versus Michael Chandler, the
Hmm.
first fight they
That
had in
that
Bellator.
whole series though is crazy as well. Not only
Yeah,
that first fight is amazing, but that whole series.
yeah, but the first fight especially because it was so crazy, and they were definitely on some EPO or doping, since they could keep going like that. That was crazy. Yeah, I remember I used to send that clip when people didn't know. When I started, a lot of people didn't know what MMA was, and I used to send that clip of that fight to show people what MMA is.
Funny, it's different in like I work as a journalist and people ask me what do I cover, what do I work in, and I try and avoid sending them the fights with the blood and the swollen eyes and the wars that I enjoy. I try and find them like a technical fight because that's what people who don't really understand MMA would probably enjoy more than a bloody war, right?
Yeah, yeah, maybe. I enjoy a lot of violence, so
Me too.
I'm just sharing what I enjoy. That's what I want to bring as well when I fight. just violence. That's you asked me what the game plan is. It's violence. That's the game plan. Dirty,
Love it.
pure violence.
And do you have any stories or interactions you've had with another fighter or a fan?
Mm. Oh, I've had so many, especially in Czech Republic. The fans are amazing, and they always come up. But I remember one time there was actually two. There was the same time. It was I was like people want me to hold their babies for pictures and stuff. It still like blows me out of it a bit. I think that is some crazy stuff going on. But just the Czech fans are just amazing, like very supportive, and the Octagon fan and like overall are just like sick Czech and Slovakia fans. So I think the crazy experience I've had was probably first time in Octagon when I had the weigh-in and stuff, and people wanted to take pictures and my autograph and stuff. Yeah,
Did you ever sign a baby that you were taking a picture with?
of course. If I would or if I've had.
If you have.
No, I've never signed a baby.
What's funny is there's an NFL player and he was telling a story about how like he took a picture of the baby and the parents were like, "Can you sign the baby?" He was like, "What?
Yeah,
The shirt? No, the baby."
yeah, it's crazy. Probably Americans, right?
Oh, 100%. It was NFL,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
very
yeah.
nice.
There you go.
And final question. I don't know if you're a big video game guy, but do you have a favorite video game?
Nah, I don't really play video games. I don't. I just got my son a little like Game Boy with like retro games, and we're playing that. But I don't really like. I don't have time to play games as well.
That's fair enough. Before we close out, if you want to shout out any sponsorships or merchandise or where the people can find you on social media, here's your time.
Yeah, you can find me all the sponsors, everything. You can see it on my social media. Jonas Shark on Instagram, and just check me out there.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the time, Jonas.
Thank you, man. Take care.